My name is Marina Roberts, and I'm a sophomore fellow. I'm double majoring in anthropology and business, and I have an interest in the nonprofit sector. I've been investigating nonprofits for the duration of this entire school year. I mainly did research and tried to learn some things here and there in the fall, and beginning in the spring, I started trying to get involved in nonprofits locally. I underwent the volunteer training at Turning Point Domestic Violence Shelter, and I started looking for internships that I could manage traveling to over the summer. During the course of those investigations, I heard about a program offered by the university's Community Service Center called the Nonprofit Protege Program, which is basically a structured shadowing opportunity set up by the Community Service Center in which you are paired up with a local nonprofit leader. Clearly this was relevant to my interests, so I applied and was happy to learn shortly thereafter that I had been accepted into the program. I was paired up with a man named DeAndre Peterson who works at Tuscaloosa's One Place, which is a family resource center. TOP is probably one of the best nonprofit organizations that I've ever encountered. From an anthropological perspective, they take a very holistic approach to helping families become stronger units. They don't just do tutoring and after-school programs. They don't just do fatherhood programs. They don't just do relationship and marriage programs. They don't just deal with drug addiction. They do all of these things together for their families, which to me this is a much more solid way to address issues of poverty. Anyone who actually studies these things will tell you that hunger and drug abuse and domestic violence are things that are very much tied together, such that from my perspective, trying to address one factor of poverty in isolation will almost by definition result in defeat. So needless to say, I learned a great deal from DeAndre. We basically had a different topic every week to discuss, everything from budgeting to crisis management to grant writing. And with that latter topic, I found my sophomore project. Now, for those of you who aren't too familiar with the nonprofit sector, grant writing is a huge part of what nonprofit executives do. It can be the most time-consuming part of your job, and it is absolutely necessary. If you want to effectively run a nonprofit, grant writing is an imperative, unless you're in one of those hip new social entrepreneurship deals, and even then you may need to write grants to make ends meet. Grant writing is often one of the largest sources of capital on which a nonprofit agency runs. In many cases, people's entire salaries come exclusively from grants. So clearly this is something I need to know if I want to go into nonprofit work. DeAndre also let it slip to me that his boss, the director of TOP, is the best grant writer he's ever seen. So that's cool. And in the course of our conversations in the weeks that passed in the program, I had an idea that would benefit me as an individual who hopes to gain skills relevant to nonprofits into TOP as a place that needs money. I talked to DeAndre about the possibility of meeting with his boss, whose name is Teresa, in order to learn about grant writing in great detail such that by the end of the summer I can write my own grant to TOP, submit it, and potentially have around $1,000 awarded to TOP, and that's just if I stop at one. He thought it was a great idea, and I met Teresa that afternoon. We basically got it set up such that throughout the summer, according to her schedule, I'll drive over to TOP in Alberta and meet with her to learn about what the actual process entails. The great thing about this is that these $1,000 grants are usually not enough money to compensate for the amount of work that they require, so Teresa wouldn't have bothered applying for them to begin with. What this means for me is that I'll have a good bit of autonomy over this grant I'm writing, and messing up will be a learning process and not a detriment to TOP. Whatever money I'm able to get from this will solely be extra cash for TOP, which I love, because I'm absolutely confident that it will go to addressing social issues prevalent in our community in a very tangible way, in a very real way. So there you have it. I'm pretty proud of this idea because I feel that it accomplishes the goals of the sophomore project in that I'm going to learn skills that will enable me to help people for the rest of my lifetime, and it's going to be of direct benefit to the Tuscaloosa community, hopefully. I think this is going to be a growing experience for me, and I look forward to the experience itself. Thank you for listening to me talk. Have a wonderful evening. Stay classy, UFE.